Hello everyone and welcome to The Long Dark, a little guide that I've put together just to show you what I've been up to in The Long Dark. It really has been a while. So long, in fact, Astrid's getting hungry. No, it's been, what, a year, 2 years, something like that since I last posted anything. But anyone who's not seen any of this stuff before, I used to do some playthroughs, I used to do survival mode and all that kind of stuff. But I've not done anything for a couple of years, basically because I have a small child. I have a 2-year-old, and it's proven a bit difficult to record videos with her around. I get a little bit of time in the evenings when she's gone to bed, when everyone else has gone to bed, but unfortunately our house is quite open plan, and if I try and do voiceovers and all that kind of stuff, I wake everyone up. So I haven't been able to do videos, but I have been playing the game offline. I started this run that I'm on now just after Ash Canyon came out, whichever update that was. And I started it in Ash Canyon because I wanted to get Technical Backpack and the Crampon. So I started the run in Ash Canyon, and I've been chipping away at it ever since. A little bit here and there whenever I've got the time, in between chasing small children around. And I think it's fair to say I've gone a little bit beyond what my goals always were. My goal always used to be get to 100 days. That's the kind of level we're at. Get to 100 days. That's what I always wanted to do. My best was about 65, and I played Stalker mode. Survival. 65 days was about my limit. I realise now how rubbish that actually is when you sort of look at what other people have been doing. But 100 days was always my target. Never quite got there. So with this offline playthrough, I really wanted to hit that 100-day target. So if I go into here, and let me show you what we've managed to achieve in the last however long it's been that I've been doing this run through. So if I'm going to scroll down here, it's going to be awkward, isn't it? And not let me actually scroll. There we go. Let's go. Oh, well, there's my 65 days. We beat that. There's my 100. So we got 100. So I finally hit that goal. As you can see, we went beyond it. We went a little way beyond it. We went quite a little way beyond it. And we kept going. And I kept going. And I kept going. And as you can see, I've now gone past the 500-day mark. There it is, 500 days. So that's the other achievement you get in the Long Dark for longevity. And we're keeping on going, and we're keeping on going, and we're keeping on going. And we are on day 658. That's where we are now. So I have well and truly gone past that 100-day goal. So if you were watching my stuff before, we've done it. We've hit the 100-day target. But I feel I can hit 1,000 now quite easily. I've learned a lot by playing this quietly offline, a little bit at a time. And I just wanted to give you a quick guided tour of what I've been doing and where I am. So here we are, as you can see. If you've not figured out where we are in the Mountaineers Hut on Timberwolf Mountain. So if I just come around and come outside, you can see we're on the Mountaineers Hut here on Timberwolf Mountain. I'm just going to do a quick time pass outside, a very quick one because it's very cold. I'm trying to avoid getting cabin fever. I've got these wolves are straying rather close to me the last couple of days. I just want to try and avoid cabin fever. But you can see my little setup. Now this is actually my secondary base. So I'll give you a quick tour of my secondary base. So here, Timberwolf Mountain. I've summited Timberwolf Mountain. So I've been to the summit. I've gathered stuff. I've brought it back down. This is a satellite base. So you can see I've got hides, pelts, and all sorts of things here. Look in the drawers. More hides, more pelts. You can see how many rabbits I've had, how many deer, and we've also had quite a few wolves from here. We've got gut. I've done a lot of fishing here because the fishing hut, as you know, is just over there. So, done a lot of fishing. We've obviously got rabbits. There's a wolf that we brought down. I'm really a little bit low on food actually. I need to go and do a. Didn't realise how low I was. I think I probably need to go and do a fishing run fairly soon. Spare tools, brought those down from the mountain. Hacksaw, hatchet, all that good stuff. Water, got a bit of a stockpile, carrying quite a bit as well, so we're doing quite well there. Spare storm lantern, I've actually got one in my inventory somewhere. There we go. So that's a spare with some oil that we're getting for the fish, obviously. Other bits and pieces, bedroll, plenty of firewood, a few more pelts and some coal over here, and a spare rope. I've actually got a spare rope that I haven't had to use so far, so that's all good. Cooking pot over there. Go into my hatch, and you can see I've got loads of stuff. More wolves, you get an idea. I've brought there's 5 there in total. Fishing hooks. I've got the distress pistol, which I got from the summit. Lots of flares. 2 rifles. One I found here, the other one I've actually brought over from somewhere else on the map. Lots of reishi mushrooms. Ammunition I'm not doing quite so well. You can see I've fired 35 revolver rounds. But I've only got about 4 left, so I'm not doing quite so well for revolver rounds. I've got the revolver as well. 11 rifle rounds left. Plenty of sewing kits. Matches, all that good stuff. So this is my secondary base. So I'd like to think that's quite well kitted out. But if we head onto the map, let me just talk you through what I've done in this playthrough. So I started here in Ash Canyon, and I made my way fairly quickly to the mines in Ash Canyon. I haven't recorded any of this, by the way, so apologies, I'm not going to be able to show you a video at all. But went to Ash Canyon and stayed there for about 7 days. Got to the mine quite quickly. Got the technical backpack and the crampons. Then I left Ash Canyon and I came to Timberwolf Mountain. And I stayed on Timberwolf Mountain, I think, for about 4 days. I didn't stay there very long the first time through. Then I came down to Pleasant Valley, and I stayed on Pleasant Valley for a little while. Made a bit of a base in the farmstead. But then I decided to get moving, so I came over to Mystery Lake. I was on Mystery Lake for a little while. I actually hit day 100 in Mystery Lake, so I think I spent about 30 days here in Pleasant Valley, and the rest of it I was here in Mystery Lake. To day 100. Then I came up to Mountain Town, and I ended up spending a bit of time in Mountain Town, and I popped into Hush River Valley, but I was only there for a couple of days, and Broken Railroad as well, via Forlorn Muskeg. So came down into the Muskeg, and over onto Broken Railroad. Again, didn't spend very much time there, only about 7 days. I got a bit bored, quite frankly. There wasn't very much to do in Broken Railroad for me at that moment, so I hadn't got a heavy hammer at that point, so I couldn't use the forge. I didn't stay long in Forlorn Muskeg either, to be honest. Then I came back up to Mountain Town, but dropped back down to Mystery Lake. I then decided to make my way to Coastal Highway, as I hadn't been there yet. So I stayed on Coastal Highway for quite a while. I forgot to go to Desolation Point. I meant to go to Desolation Point, but I kind of just made my way back to Pleasant Valley, so I kind of slipped up a bit. Slipped up a bit there. Then went back to Pleasant Valley, spent a chunk of time on Pleasant Valley, and then decided that I wanted to summit Timberwolf. So I went back to Timberwolf Mountain, and I actually ended up spending quite a lot of time on Timberwolf Mountain. I was there for quite a long time, and I summited. Got to the summit, and came back down and stayed in the hut for quite a while before I decided to make my way back through Pleasant Valley, through Mystery Lake, back to Mountain Town. And I've set my main base up in Mountain Town, and I've stayed there for several hundred of the days that I've amassed. So I've been in Mountain Town for quite some time. Now, obviously I'm not there now, so I can't show you around my main base. But I'm going to drop some pictures in of my main base over in Mountain Town, so you can see what I've got set up there. You can see how many deer and wolves and a bear and a moose that I have peeled in Mountain Town. So you see all the hides and all that. The bear skin I don't think is there because, again, I'm putting these pictures in after the fact, but I don't think the bear's there because I think I took that with me. But I brought down a bear in Mountain Town, a moose, and loads of deer, rabbits and wolves and everything else in Mountain Town. So you can see how many there. And my base is in the cave, which is above by the radio tower. That's where my base is. Probably should have said that first. That's where my base actually is. It's in that deep cave that's by the radio tower. And it's proven a really good place to be because in that cave you're completely safe from predators because you're on a plateau. You've got a climbing section on the way in at one end and a climbing section on the way out at the other end that wolves can't get up and down, and neither can deer or anything else. So you're completely safe on that plateau. So that cave is great because wolves aren't going to wander in. You can do what you want and they're not going to come in. It's deep enough that as long as you've got good clothing, you're pretty much guaranteed to be protected from the cold. Anything but the very worst blizzard, you will not drop below 0 in there, as long as you've got good clothing, which I have. So it's counted as an outdoor location for cabin fever, so you can do whatever you want in there, and you will not get cabin fever. Stay in there as long as you need to. But it's also counted as an indoor location for curing, so you can cure hides and things like that in there, and they will cure as long as you put them far enough back. So what I was typically doing was laying the hides out at the back of the cave and then moving them to the front just to store them. And it's worked out extremely well. And it's also got really good access to get firewood and things like that. that spawns up on that plateau, so you can get that without even leaving the plateau. There's also a deer spawn up there, so you can get a deer, which will obviously sporadically respawn, so you can keep yourself supplied. And if you climb up the first climb and carry on up to the top, there's quite a sizable rabbit grove. Snares don't seem to work, but stones obviously do. And there's also a wolf spawn a little bit further around towards Mackenzie's crash plane, so you've got the chance to bring that wolf down as well. So it's been a great location, and you can see the little camp that I've got. I've got my campfire, my bed down in the bottom corner, and all my equipment and supplies all laid out. I've got plenty of food, lots of spare water, and all the spare equipment. A lot of that came from Timberwolf. I dragged it back across. Some of it's been looted from various places. Anything valuable I've kind of dragged back to that main base. There is actually stuff scattered all over the game world. I've got some stuff in the Pleasant Valley Farmstead, which is more of a little storage cache. There isn't. I haven't left much in Pleasant Valley, but there's a little bit there. I've got a fair bit in Trapper's Cabin, some spare equipment and bits and pieces in Trapper's Cabin because I was there for quite a long time. I think I left a few things over on Jackrabbit Island and Coastal Highway, but I've not been back there. And for reasons we'll talk about in a minute, I'm not going to be going back there. And just dotted around the place, various other little bits and pieces. Places I haven't been: Bleak Inlet. I haven't been to Bleak Inlet, obviously Desolation Point. And I haven't been to Blackrock because Blackrock was not there when I started this run through. So Blackrock has appeared since then. And that is actually why I've come back to Timberwolf Mountain. I've come back to Timberwolf Mountain right now because my intention was to go to Blackrock. However, the latest announcement of the latest update that's coming out has kind of derailed that a little bit. Tales from the Far Territory, it sounds fantastic and brilliant, and I'm really looking forward to it. First piece of DLC for the Long Dark, I think it's going to be really good. One thing that's coming in with that update, as we all know, is a change to the game's save files, which means that current save files will not work when the new update comes out, regardless of whether you purchase the DLC or not. So that kind of brings this run through to a little bit of what I would call a premature end, because as I say, you know, I've learnt a lot through doing this run through, and I could comfortably stay here indefinitely, to be honest. I mean, we've got everything we need in this little area. You know, I've got plentiful food. I can bring those wolves down when they respawn, bring them down again. Bring that deer down when it respawns, bring it down again. Use the wolves to bring the deer down. It'd be awesome if we could do it the other way around. Use the wolves to bring the deer down, so I don't even have to use ammunition, which is brilliant because I haven't got my bow. I've got my bow back at my base, but I haven't got enough weight to carry it over here, so I haven't got it. I can fish. I've got infinite scrap metal, which I brought down from the mountain. Guts, so I can make tons of fishing tackle. So I can fish. I can make water. There's plenty of branches and things around here to keep my fire. So I could stay here indefinitely. But unfortunately, because of this game save change, it kind of brings this playthrough to a little bit of a premature end. But which is kind of why I wanted to give you a little bit of a guide through, just so you could see what's going on. Because when this new DLC comes out, I am hoping that I can do a playthrough. I'm hoping I can do a survival mode playthrough with the new DLC, probably starting in 2023, so after the DLCs come out for a little bit. But I'm hoping I can do a playthrough so we can get another video series going, because I really want to try and get that going again, so that we can be playing the Long Dark, showing what I'm doing. Hopefully we can learn off each other. I've learned a lot from watching other people over the last 12 months and figuring things out myself as well, which I kind of want to share. So I've basically been using starvation hibernation tactics, which isn't the most interesting way of doing things sometimes, but it's kept me going and it's worked. So hopefully we can kind of combine that with a bit more exploration tactics next time, to get a bit of an interesting playthrough. And hopefully, if you're if you're new to Long Dark, or you want to try and get through survival mode and do a really good job of getting a little bit further through survival mode, perhaps we can take that journey together when the new DLC comes out. But unfortunately, the game that I've got going is going to come to a bit of a premature end. But I will show you the vital statistics. As you can see, I've only explored 54% of the locations in the world, so I haven't managed to explore very far. I was going to explore a bit further. Officially, we've survived 656 days, and you can see the vital statistics. So I've spent 91 days in Mystery Lake, 118 in Pleasant Valley, 36 in Coastal Highway, 113 here on Timberwolf Mountain, Mountain Town, 263. 4 in Forlorn Muskehead, 7 in Broken Railroad, and only a couple in Hushed River Valley. And I haven't been to Bleak Inlet. 20 I did in Ash Canyon, because I did actually go back to Ash Canyon. So I did 7 initially, and I've actually been back as well since. So you can see how many wildlife hits. Well, I've taken 1 bow shot, and I didn't hit anything with it. 58 rifle shots, of which 38 found the target. 135 revolver shots, of which half of them hit the floor when I accidentally clicked the button. You can see I brought down... How many wolves have I killed? 45 wolves we've killed in this playthrough. We brought down 3 bears, 2 moose, 22 deer, and 224 rabbits. We are the rabbit killer. That's how I've survived, basically, is on rabbit. But we've done quite a bit of fishing. That's relatively recent. So you get an idea. You see what we've been up to. And I've also got many of the skills up to quite high levels as well. So I've used the skills to my advantage. Some of them maybe I needed to get a little bit higher. Mending I definitely needed to get a little bit higher. But some of the others have worked out quite well and come in quite helpful in our playthrough here. But that's kind of it for this particular tour. You kind of get the idea. We've set ourselves up a bit of a base. We've got essential supplies dotted about, and I've got multiple bases across the game world with other supplies in that I can go and get to as well. So hopefully in the new year we'll be able to start a bit of a survival mode playthrough. We'll get ourselves established, and then hopefully I can take you through the tactics I've been using to survive in the game, and hopefully help you along the way if you're new to the game. And we can go and explore the new territories as well. But I am going to say, right for this moment, I'm going to come and stand outside with my wolves. These are my buddies. They've been with me for however long I've been here now. I'm going to say thank you very much for joining me for this slightly quick, slightly random update, but hopefully we'll be able to get back into the groove a little bit in 2023 and bring you some more survival mode games. But for now, I'm going to say thank you very much for joining me, and I shall see you again with my wolves very, very soon.